when you're starting a business, a lot of it is just like working at your business, problem solving with customers every day, making sure that the products you buy are high quality, that you have a good margin on them.
Hello, everyone. It's Sean from Thrive with another episode of the Power Up, where I meet with successful small business owners and operators to learn about their business strategy so you can take their insights and level up your own business. Once your business is ready to expand, knowing where to start can be overwhelming. Our guests have some creative solutions for how they've tackled tricky problems and turned them into growth opportunities. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, everyone. Our guest today is Joe Ressler from ReWild in DC in the United States. In a previous life, Joe had a successful career as a poker player, but when that started to wind down, Joe took the time to get an MBA, but didn't have much luck finding opportunities without previous experience. That's when he decided to create his own job, and ReWild was born in 2018 to bring a curated selection of indoor houseplants to budding enthusiasts. Since then, Joe has expanded the business to 5 locations and diversified sales with a gift shop, events out of the warehouse, and an installation and maintenance program to keep plants happy and healthy for the long haul. You ready to get started, Joe?
I'm ready.
All right. My first question for you is tell me a little bit about how you go from being a professional poker player to MBA to starting ReWild.
So back when I was getting an MBA, I was applying for a lot of like finance jobs, which when you have an 8-year gap in your resume, it definitely puts you at the bottom of the ladder. So a friend from the poker world and from high school, an old friend of mine, he and I decided we wanted to start a business, and we were looking around the way that anyone wants to buy like a really small business, which is like you just go on Biz Buy Sell and you request NDAs. And for me, like the one observation we had was that there are a lot of flower shops for sale. And then when you got sort of the financials of these flower shops, you could see you're really buying nothing. You like they didn't have they weren't making a lot of money. There wasn't like a dedicated commercial customer base. So why would you want to enter a business that's not making a lot of money? I guess for us, we saw that an opportunity to like zigzag where flowers in particular were moving to Trader Joe's, to Whole Foods, to big box retailers. And it was such an impersonal experience. And something like flowers and plants, they're like very aesthetic. They're very important to like sort of like the vibe of your home. And so we decided the most efficient route to do that would just be create our own brand. And sort of that was the seed of a thought that started ReWild. I would say that I don't it feels like it was a good idea now, but at the time it was just sort of it was basically like a cheap experiment. And you know, renting retail space, especially back in 2018, wasn't super expensive. When you have one store, you don't need a ton of inventory. I plan to staff the store mainly with myself and my other business partner, Lily Cox, who was sort of like the industry expert for us. And so that was sort of how ReWild was born.
Got it. So tell me a little bit about like the business model specifically. Like, what are you guys doing that's unique compared to other, flower and plant type shops?
Most people think about garden centers. You know, you go 10, 15, 30 minutes outside of the city, you go hit a big garden center. It's cheap. There's a ton of inventory, and you don't really know what you're looking at or have an idea of what you're going to do. So for us, we just moved that model right into the city, and we focus solely on houseplants. So people with condos, with row houses, and our specialty is really being like super fast and high quality. And so that's like how we think of ourselves. We can deliver really large, complete products to customers. We're not giving them problems. And that is basically where we live in the value spectrum.
Got it. So are all five of your guys' locations in Washington, DC, and are all five locations like the same model, or do each of them do something different?
So we've been lucky. We've gotten to diversify a little bit. Four of the locations are like typical houseplant stores where we focus on selling plants and pottery. And we have one location that's actually the gift shop at the US Botanic Garden. Um, I would say that location is a bit of a diversification. We sell plants there, but we also sell branded, really high-end tote bags, dish towels, things that commemorate people's visits to the garden. And so diversifying away from plants, it's definitely a a gift to us in a lot of ways because DC is a very transient city. And so our hot seasons for the houseplant stores will be when people are home, like in the fall, in the winter, and in the spring. In the summer, everyone's traveling. So our sales cyclically go pretty far down in the stores. However, tourism in DC goes way up during the summer. And so we're able to sort of offset
Mm,
um, the low demand in our retail plant stores with a gift shop. That's honestly pretty lucky. I would just say that the US Botanic Garden store was another, and a lot of our stores in general, uh, you know, we just try to find real estate where it makes sense for us. Our business model really makes sense in small footprints. Our stores tend to be 800 square feet to 1,500 square feet. And
hmm.
so we look for opportunities that are like in dense, high traffic areas, but not, super large commitments financially.
Sure. And something you mentioned at the beginning of the conversation was like a reference to other flower shops not having like traditionally a returning customer base. Is that something you've been able to figure out how to resolve with ReWild?
I would say that's like an open question. As you grow, when you're starting a business, uh, and our business has been around for 5 years, a lot of it is just like working at your business, problem solving with customers every day, making sure that the products you buy are high quality, that you have a good margin on them, that your uh, policies and procedures are all loose, and then as we grow, we're starting to think more about having a customer relationship management system and tracking whether customers come back or they don't come back. I would say we're about like a year into that process, so the data is sort of not totally there. One great part of having like beautiful retail locations and storefronts for a slightly complicated product is that we have been fortunate enough to launch like a maintenance and installation business. So if you have an apartment building, if you have a restaurant, if you have a super high-end residential home, we're happy to put together really large orders for you. We'll deliver them and then we'll maintain them on a weekly basis. And so on that end, we've been able to develop recurring revenue. Recurring revenue is one of those like places where you don't know you want to live. You're not sure if you want to live there or not as a business owner. Like in reality, like what I'm telling to customers is I'm saying to them, like, I have a beautiful high quality product. You can put it in your home. It'll make your space greener. It'll accentuate whatever type of vibe you want in your home. And I really would love to give them like a complete product. Unfortunately, plants, I mean, they do need to be taken care of. If you water a plant for like a year and don't do anything else, maybe it'll deteriorate a little. So trying to get it is always it's a bit of like a heady question in my opinion. Like I would love if I didn't have to maintain it because that would make my
Mhm.
product way better. Although as long as we are doing the right things with our maintenance customers, like we're giving them little gifts, we're making sure that their plants don't have pests, as long as we're not creating problems for them, I feel a little bit better about it.
Got it. Do you have any sort of like loyalty program?
This Friday, we're launching a membership program.
Okay.
It's something we've been asked about for years. So that will, be the true testament to figuring out, the customer lifetime value of, ReWild
Yeah.
customers.
Yeah. Are you able to tell us a little bit about how the program is going to work?
Yeah, so it's just gonna be like, I spend a lot of time thinking about other loyalty programs. You have like REI, they have like a co-op.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've ever been to an REI, but basically they just sell it to you at the register and it's sort of like a kickback where it's $20, so it costs basically nothing, and then you get 10% of your purchases back, I think in the form of a gift card at the end of the year.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
that's the really lowest end of a membership program. And the highest end would be like a restoration hardware where it's $300 a year. And then everything that you could possibly want to buy would make it worth it to be a member because all the items are like discounted 30%. The average order is like thousands of dollars. So you sort of have to become a member if you wanted to.
Hmm.
So we decided to live somewhere in the middle, which is our membership program is going to be $80 a year. Um, we focus solely on, we're a very local company. We're not trying to sell a ton online. We're trying to sell out of our retail stores, right? And so it's $80 a year. Anytime you shop with us, you'll get 15% off the whole store. So you have to spend something like $530 to get your $80 back, which isn't terrible. But on top of that, we give you one free local delivery. We value that at like $25, and we give you one free workshop at our store. So we do educational workshops, or they're really like activities where you get to make a custom plant product like a terrarium or a kokedama or a mounted plant. And we value that at like $55. So really the membership program, it's going to be like a low and slow type thing. We're not trying to like launch a membership program and get everyone to sign up. We're trying to launch a membership program so that all those people who are regulars at the store and ask about discounts all the time can just get a discount for the whole year. And we're hoping really that the membership program, as a retailer, you're as a retailer in a market that has so many sales all the time. It feels like when I look at our promotional calendar, it's like, every month there's some nationally, sanctioned sale that we have to abide by or people will be upset about. And doing sales as a high-end retailer sort of feels like it defeats the purpose of, or like our value. Like, why
Hmm.
are high quality products being discounted? So we're
Sure.
hoping that the membership program long term really allows us to have like a closer relationship with a like small, very loyal subsect of our customers and not have to sweat having to do, whatever, 20 sales a year or
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Totally with you on that. How are you planning to tactically manage this? Like, are you using a software product to manage the membership program? Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I mean, frankly, I'm just using an app on Shopify to manage the membership program. I looked at a few apps. That is, we use Active Campaign. That is like the customer relationship management tool you use. And so
Hmm.
anything that we do, we want it to be able to have an API into Active Campaign. And that's basically how we'll manage it. Uh,
Okay. What app did you go with on Shopify?
what app? I went with App Store.
App Store?
Yeah.
App Store.
Like APPSTLE. I can't really give it a review yet. I mean,
Okay. Yeah.
I can say it was easy to set up, but
Interesting. Never heard of it. Cool. We'll take a look.
there's a
APPSTO.
million VIP membership apps. I mean, to be frank with you, there is in like the SaaS and app world, there seems to be a trend of apps that want to take a percentage of the revenue that the app drives. So like
Sure.
a lot of membership apps will basically set it up such that like 5% or anywhere 5 to 10% of the revenue generated by members on your website will get diverted straight to the app on top of, some monthly subscription charge. And we're just like very conscious of, that was not the game I wanted to play. Managing a membership that has like only a couple perks and needs to discount my website, I can do that, most of those things through Shopify. So I was trying to, it makes it really unattractive to give people 15% off and then have to give 10% of the revenue to
Yeah, yeah,
Shopify.
totally.
So that's how I was thinking about it.
Yeah,
Shopify
interesting.
doesn't have there's no like customer relationship component to it.
No, no, you have to use a companion product like Appsful. So yeah, I'm glad you found that. Yeah, I've seen some folks use the one I tend to see come up is Smile. That's I think smile.io. I just see their marketing and I see our customers tend to talk a little bit about it. So anyway, I'll do some research on Appsful. It's pretty nice to see you found that. And I see it here in the app marketplace. Looks like it's like a blue branded product, but okay, well, let's see. I'm getting close to the end. I have basically some four rapid fire questions for you. You can dig into them each a little bit if you like to, but then after that, we'll wrap it up. Sound good, Joe?
All right, it's a deal.
Cool. So number one, what would you say is your fastest growing sales or marketing channel?
I would say it's our installations and maintenance business. So like doing large scale installations and maintaining them is for sure like where we're spending a lot of our time. And basically from like a business standpoint, it's like, what are we trying, especially going through like rapid growth in 2020, 2021, we're trying to like fill out all the, maximize revenue in all the places that we're currently living.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Number two is what is your favorite resource? It can be like a blog or a YouTube channel or a book or anything like that to grow your skills or your business.
My favorite business book is probably The Goal. Is that the name of it? Yeah, The Goal.
Okay. Who's that by? I don't recognize that one off the top of my head. Do you know?
It's by Eliyahu Goldratt. But it's basically like it's like a nonfiction fiction story. It's a fictional story about but it's really a nonfiction about like a factory and like some, like a factory that is not doing very well, and what are like the constraints that make the factory make certain decisions, and how do you make it do better.
Sure.
So
Yep. Eliyahu Goldratt. Got it right here. Okay. Number three, what piece of tech can you not live without in your business?
I mean, I feel like this is a setup, but we couldn't live
It's
without like
definitely not.
shop inventory and Google Sheets. That's like
Yeah.
the business runs on shop inventory and Google Sheets. Maybe, I'll send a special shout out to Slack, but I do think that after a certain employee count, Slack is messy, very messy.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you found any use for any of the hot new AI stuff out now?
Not a ton, maybe we use a bit of AI integration on Shopify for product descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love it. Every time I read something in AI, it feels like I telepathically know that someone wrote something in it with the AI. It hasn't been super useful yet. I do think that we have like a couple projects going on that where they'll benefit from some of these apps. But to be honest with you, I am like not the person in the business who is like diving into the AI stuff, which is probably a problem. But
That's all right. I don't blame you. It took me a while too. So, all
I
right,
will
number
say
four.
though,
Yeah.
all of these things like shop inventory is a great example. Google Sheets, they're all about like they only work if the inputs are right, right? So like, no matter what the tool is, it's for us, it's about training people to use the tool correctly, to monitoring if the tool is getting updated. And, we haven't really touched shop inventory a ton here, but it's great to have a very comprehensive inventory management system, and having and managing inventory for live inventory, which I'm sure is something that you think about sometimes, but not a ton, is we do a lot of stock ticks, we do a lot of reconciliation. We got to track those things to know if we're even making money when we buy a certain number of plants.
Sure.
And so tools are as good as the
It's the input and the person using it. So garbage in, garbage out. Number 4, what piece of advice do you have for business owners that are looking to start growing their business?
I mean, this is the classic advice, is like, best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is today. People in our business, people in my life, they always talk about starting businesses. There's really a million ways to, what is it? It's a million ways to slice an onion, a million ways to cut
Yeah.
I don't know, but you got to start. I mean, you got to find a customer. Even within our business, I think about starting little businesses all the time, and if I feel compelled, I just do it and find a customer, and it does create some friction. But it's the only way to really find out if something's worthwhile.
Sure. All right. Last question. This one's a hard one. Where can our listeners find you guys?
Find us in Washington, D.C., Arlington, Virginia, and Potomac, Maryland. The best place to hear about all the stuff we have going on is our Instagram, which is at ReWildDC, and our website, rewilddc.com. Just sign up for our newsletter. We put out like a pretty good newsletter, maybe every 1 to 2 weeks. So,
well, thank you so much, Joe. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you, Sean.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Power Up by Thrive. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive into strategies that you can use to grow your business. If you're ready to take these ideas into the real world, head over to thrivemetrics.com. That's THRIVEMETRICS.com to sign up for a 30-day free trial of our business management software.